Hi, and welcome to This Week in East Brunswick, the town's own news and information program. Tonight we'll start with a news series we'll be bringing you on historic spots in Middlesex County. This week, visiting the Thomas Warne Historical Museum on Route 516 in Old Bridge. Peggy Ballister-Howells continues with her tips on composting, and we'll visit with Township Arts Coordinator Dolly Vasta at the Community Beach and also at Playhouse 22. Health Facts with Dr. Robert Carlin and information on hypnosis and health. Also this week's constitutional comment from Audrey Babbix and consumer advocate Adrian Eisner with information about heat stress. All this and more coming up in the next half hour, but first a quick look at what's on Channel 8 next week. Monday at 10 a.m. it's Look Great, Feel Great with Lenore Kulik, followed at 10:30 by For Art's Sake with Dolly Vasta, with a look at the Middlesex County Beauty Pageant. Tuesday at 7 p.m., it's Kid Stuff with folk singer Jim Albertson. 7:30 Tuesday, John Megliaro brings you a look at skydiving on Sports Talk. And at 8 p.m., it's About East Brunswick with the Mayor. Wednesday at 3, it's Stories for the Kids, read by children's librarians. And we'll be back Thursday at 7 and 8 p.m. with an all-new This Week in East Brunswick. Also, you may notice a new look on Channel 8 because our regular character generator, which looks like this, and brings you the Channel 8 program guide and community bulletin board, is out for repairs this week, but we hope to have it online by Monday the 27th. Now let's visit the Thomas Warne Museum. Once a one-room schoolhouse in the late 1800s and early 1900s, the museum is located on Route 516 in Old Bridge, across from Cedar Ridge High School. Now let's join the building's curator, Alvia Martin, for some of the building's history and exhibits.
The building we are in is a one-room schoolhouse. It was built in 1885. However, there was a building here as early as 1821. There was one teacher with classes from the 1st to the 8th grade. There's quite a good documentation of the teachers and the pupils, and we have many photographs available for people to look at in our museum collection. We have a large research file, and we work with college students and high school students on a one-to-one basis for those doing research in specific areas. There have been even Winterthur Museum has done research in our museum on the salt glaze pottery. We have a nice exhibit of clay, stoneware, and the early salt glaze crocks that were made by James Morgan and the Warne and Letts potteries that were so prominent here. Before the white man came, of course, the land was occupied by the Lenni Lenape Indians. And we have great evidence of their being on the land because of the numerous hammerstones and scrapers and arrowheads and various Indian artifacts that can be found in our area. When we do the lectures and tours to scout groups or adult groups, we talk about the early fossil finds in our area. We talk about colonial living and how the people survived with the help of some of the Indian lore in the area. We also talk about the early lifestyle of the colonial settlers and mention a lot of the families and the areas. So many of the items that you see in the museum all have been donated by interested parties, people that have lived in the township, and many that have had their roots here but have moved to other states, but they're sending back material for the museum. Thomas Warne, for whom the museum is named, was one of those original 24 proprietors, and some of his ancestors still live in the area and on a farm. It's one of the few proprietors probably that mingled with the people and became assimilated into the area. Many of the proprietors never came to New Jersey, so we're quite proud to have named the museum Thomas Warne. And where this school is located is probably on the land of the original 1,000 acres that he was granted by the King of England. We'd like to extend a welcome to everyone to visit our museum, and we're open on Wednesday morning, 9:30 to 12 noon, and we're open the first Sunday of each month, 1 to 4. The other days of the week, we have group lectures and tours by appointment only. In your library is the book At the Headwaters of Cheesequake Creek, and we also do have it for sale here at the museum. We are a nonprofit, self-supporting organization, and the museum is managed and maintained by the Madison Township Historical Society. We are located on Route 516 in Old Bridge Township.
Hey, Frack, do you realize it is 94 degrees today here at the East Brunswick Community Beach?
I certainly do. I'm sweating also.
Yes, and I am fully dressed for a change.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you tell our audience while we're here?
Well, we came by today at the Community Beach to tell you to join us here this coming Sunday evening to 7 o'clock to hear
the Molasses Hill Band. They're a super country, pop, rock band, 5 members. Oh, I only have 4 fingers up.
They kind of do everything, folks.
That's right.
You know, so it's enjoyable. It'll reach the whole family.
And it's foot tapping, hand clapping. Listen, you don't want to miss it. And I hate to mention this, but just in case it might rain, it'll be at the library. It's such a terrible word to use, that word rain, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I know. So we'll see you all there. And by the way, if you show up Sunday, I've got a wonderful story to tell you how I happened to hire this group. So I'll see you Sunday.
Do I have to wait till Sunday, too, to hear the story?
Yes. By the way, this is Karen Burke, Manager Recreation.
Commonly known as Frack. And this
right.
is Dolly Vaster, Arts Commission person.
That's right.
And she's known as Frick.
That's Frick.
So Frick and Frack will see you Sunday evening.
That's right.
7 o'clock, down here.
Right. Take care.
Bye.
Want to sip?
Since the dawn of time, man has sought new and better ways to propel himself across his small planet. Now, a new age dawns as man discovers the foot. Just one foot can hop, tap, kick. 2 feet can walk, skip, run.
A small hop for one man, a great step forward for mankind.
This message was brought to you in the interests of the better use of feet.
A message from the NRPA and your local recreation and park agency.
And now for more composting tips from Peggy Ballister House, Middlesex County Agricultural Agent.
Sometimes finding just the right spot to put your compost pile can be a problem. Besides that, there's other problems involving insects and the fact that compost piles really aren't a very pretty thing to look at. So, for those of you with those kinds of problems, there's a very simple method of dealing with your compost, and that's to compost it in black plastic bags. Now, one of the problems with black plastic bags is that they're easily punctured, so one of the things that I'm doing here is chopping things up into very small pieces, and that will help to eliminate some of the puncturing problem. Now, I have here a plastic bag that is green on the outside. Well, green's not too bad, but black is better. And many of the plastic bags that are available on the market are black on the inside. So if you turn them inside out, they will be black. And the reason that black is best is that it absorbs the heat. Now, since you have such a small quantity of material in the bag, the heat buildup will be minimum. And it's very important to have the heat buildup in order to kill off the pathogens and the weed seeds. So if it's black, it will absorb sunlight and hopefully get a little bit more heat built up inside. Now we're going to fill this plastic bag up only about halfway. And you don't want to use exclusively grass clippings. As a matter of fact, only a very small portion should be grass clippings, because grass clippings will decompose very rapidly and will produce odor problems, which you want to avoid at all costs. So you fill this up about halfway. You don't want to fill it up more because it'll become too heavy. It may not seem heavy while you're filling it up, but we have to add a tremendous amount of water, and that will add to the weight. And if the bag rips and falls apart, that doesn't do anybody any good. Now see, some of this material could be broken down a little bit, but it's soft. The most serious problems are when you have prunings from things like rose bushes that have sharp thorns, because that'll be the first thing to puncture the bag. Half full, which is about what we have here, it's important to put a lot of holes in the bag. I do that with my handy pitchfork, and that's for two reasons. When you fill it with water, it allows the excess water to flow out, and it also allows for oxygen to penetrate into the center later on. Remember, without oxygen, you can develop a serious odor problem. This part's kind of fun. Okay, I think that's enough holes. And now I've got to get the water. All right, we have some water here, and we'll really wet it down thoroughly. It's very important that you have at least 50% water in here. Organic matter that is allowed to get dry does not decompose. The little tiny microbes that do the work for you require water and nitrogen in order to do their job. If you're using a lot of woody material in composting, you can add a small amount of high nitrogen fertilizer that will increase the rate of decomposition. Now I'm going to fill this until we see some water coming out of the holes. I don't see it. It's just starting. Yeah, we're getting some. Okay, that looks good. And then you have to tie up the bag. Now you don't want to tie it too tight. Make the old rabbit ear technique here. Now this is going to be heavy with all the water in it. And it's going to compost in there, but one of the problems is it is contained in plastic, and we have to get oxygen in. Well, you can make a pile of this in the corner someplace, and every once in a while just give it a kick. Can't be much easier than that. We've got some of the extra water coming out now, and in probably a year or less, you will have nice, brown, rich compost that you can use in your garden to improve the soil or as a mulch. Now, we've talked about several different methods of composting and several different things that you can do with it once it's finished. If you would like some more information, we have lots of it in printed form, and you can contact us at the Middlesex County Cooperative Extension Service of Rutgers. So if you have any more questions, just give me a call there. This is Peggy Ballister-Howells, your Middlesex County Agricultural Agent on composting.
Dr. Robert Carlin is a professor of psychology at Rutgers University and lives in Princeton.
One of the most fascinating areas in modern psychology is hypnosis. Hypnosis has been around for about 200 years, and you would think that we would have gotten rid of it by now, proved in one way or another that this silly ritual is all nonsense, that people really aren't hypnotized or just are suggestible or influenceable or gullible in some sort of way. Well, in fact, hypnosis has been a center of some very good psychology research over the last 75 years or so. Major figures in psychology and psychiatry, from Freud and Hull back in the early part of this century to people these days like Jack Hilgard and Martin Orne and Ted Barber, have all studied hypnosis extensively. And hypnosis has a very good research tradition as a result, and we know a good deal about it. We are really starting to know a good deal about its possible effects on health and how it can help people. The research has not gotten rid of hypnosis. Rather, it's elucidated some of its properties, some of the ways in which it can be particularly helpful. Most people are used to thinking about hypnosis in terms of habit control. And indeed, hypnosis can be a very good help for some habits. Smoking is probably the prime example of that. Hypnosis for weight loss is probably less successful for most people. Hypnosis, however, is also very useful for three sets of disorders that most people don't think of. One are skin disorders, the second are disorders centering on pain, and the third set of disorders have to do with immune system functioning. Let me deal with the latter two, hypnosis and pain, and hypnosis and the immune system, in this brief segment. Hypnosis is one of the most useful treatments for pain. Many people can be hypnotized enough to well enough to help them with many pain problems. In acute pain, well over 90% of the population can be helped with hypnosis. Now, many people think, well, that's only true if the pain is psychological. That's not at all true. As a matter of fact, hypnosis is most helpful if the pain is physical. Some clear examples of the use of hypnosis in physical pain, for instance, are the use of hypnosis in burn units, where hypnosis makes the changing of dressings much easier. If you're facing pain or are in chronic pain, at least try hypnosis. It helps some of the people a great deal some of the time. The other use of hypnosis is in immune system functioning. We're not sure why hypnotic suggestions can help with immune system functioning yet, but in fact, increase in immune system functioning has been demonstrated, at least in a preliminary manner, with hypnotic suggestions. This provides some fascinating notions about the possible uses of hypnosis. These are just beginning to be explored, and we'll probably know more about them in a few years. I'm Dr. Robert Carlin, and this has been Health Facts.
My name is Audrey Babix, and I'm a 9th grader at Churchill Junior High School. I'm bringing you this week's comment on the Constitution. My topic is the woman's role in the Constitutional Convention. Throughout the summer of 1787 in Philadelphia, the role of women in the Constitutional Convention was not considered. Whether the Founding Fathers favored the New Jersey Plan or the Virginia Plan, slavery or abolishment, the men who convened in Carpenter's Hall shared assumptions so fully that they did not even debate the issue. John Adams of Massachusetts clearly ignored the point in a famous letter from his wife Abigail, dated March 31, 1776. In the new Code of Laws, which I suppose it will be necessary for you to create, please remember the ladies, and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. Do not put unlimited power into the hands of the husbands. Remember, all men would be tyrants if they could. If particular care and attention is not paid to the ladies, we are determined to foment a rebellion. And we will not be bound by any laws in which we have no vote or representation. Abigail's plea on behalf of women for representation in the government did not have precedence. In New Jersey, the state constitution of 1776 enfranchised all free inhabitants meeting property and resident qualifications, clearly stating every voter shall, in free deliver his or her ballot. Unfortunately, Abigail's plan was ignored, and the New Jersey election statute did not become a role model. In fact, when the women's vote in New Jersey was thought to have been exercised as a block vote in 1797, in the state legislative campaign, the defeated party, in that case the Democratic Republicans, launched a bitter campaign to end women's suffrage. Two themes emerged from this. The first argued that women who appeared at the polls were unfeminine, forgetful of their proper place. The second argument stated that women were easily manipulated, if not by their husbands, then by their brothers or fathers. In 1807, New Jersey passed new election law. This excluded women from polls. True to Abigail's word, rebellion was fomented throughout the United States. This gradually forced the state legislators to recognize the rights of women. Pressure was also directed at the national government. A long, arduous battle was required before the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920, giving women the right to vote throughout the United States.
Hi, I'm Dolly Vasta with your arts update for this week. I'm here at Playhouse 22, and behind me is the set for the show that's going to open this Friday and Saturday night at the Playhouse. It's called The Good Earth and More, and with me is half of the team who I call Orson Taubenslag. It's Michael Taubenslag, the director. Mike,
Hi, Dolly.
How do you feel about doing this show?
I have a lot of fun directing this and working with my father, Elliot. He's written a lot of one-acts, and this year he came over to me and said, how about directing something at the Playhouse? And I said, well, what would you like me to direct? And he said, what about something doing one of my pieces? And I was like, well, what do you have? And he suggested these three plays, The Good Earth, Escape from the Cold Night Air, and Final Moments. And they're probably three of his best one-act musicals.
Now, not all of them are musicals. Two of them are
Final Moments is not
right.
a musical. Two are based on classics. The Good Earth is based, of course, on the first chapter of The Good Earth. Escape from the Cold Night Air is based on an O. Henry short story, which I was forced to read when I was in 8th grade for a literature course. And Final Moments is right out of Eliot's head.
Well, that's some head to be right out of, too. You know, I heard you last night because I'm in the show, and
right.
for our viewers, hopefully, maybe we'll get them out. But you were giving notes afterwards, and you
a lot of notes for you, Dolly.
I know. No,
I have more notes later.
More notes later. Thanks a lot, Michael. But you really had a lot for your dad. I mean, you were really hard on El last night.
He takes direction well.
I know, but do you ever get a little bit of fiendish joy out of doing this?
No.
No.
To tell you the truth, Elliot's probably the easiest actor that I've worked with.
Outside of myself, of course.
No, you're easy to work with also.
You better say that.
No, he's extremely easy to work with. As far as an author, working with an author could be hard, but he keeps his mouth shut and he respects me, which is nice.
And that's sometimes hard to do.
For Elliot, yes.
No, for you.
For me, yes, too.
All right. The show opens this Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday and the following
And the following Friday and Saturday. And the ticket prices are?
$6 for general admission
and
$4 for senior citizens and
students on Friday nights only.
Right.
And all they have to do is pick up their telephone, 254-3939. The theater is air-conditioned, and in this weather, boy, it's a great Friday and Saturday night treat. What do you think?
I agree.
Okay.
Better than a movie.
Okay. Why don't you smile at the camera and just tell them to come on out and see
Come on out, have a good time, and have fun. See you on Friday. Bye-bye.
Hello, and welcome to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner, Director of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. It is a really hot summer day. The sun beats down. All you want to do is sit somewhere cool. And that's the best thing you could do, because heat stress can be a real danger to many people when a heat wave hits. Heat stress is caused by the body's inability to adjust to sudden increases in temperature, and the elderly are especially vulnerable. It puts a dangerous strain on the heart and blood pressure and can lead to heat exhaustion, heart failure, and stroke. Signs of heat stress include dizziness, rapid heartbeat, diarrhea, nausea, cramps, throbbing headache, chest pain, weakness, mental changes, breathing problems, and vomiting. If you experience any of them, call a doctor immediately. Here are some ways to avoid heat stress by keeping cool. Use air conditioners if you have them, or go someplace that does, such as a shopping mall, senior citizen center, or movie theater. If you don't have an air conditioner, use a fan to draw in cool air at night and to keep air moving during the day. Take cool baths or showers. Wear lightweight, light-colored, loose-fitting clothing, and wear hats or use umbrellas to keep out the sun. Drink more water during hot weather. Don't wait until you are thirsty. Avoid alcohol, which acts as a diuretic, resulting in faster water loss. Avoid hot foods and heavy meals. Digesting them adds heat to your body. Finally, curtail physical activity during extremely hot weather. Activity adds to heat strain. I hope that you will take these precautions so that you can enjoy the summer without experiencing the problems of heat stress. If we can be of further assistance to you with consumer problems or inquiries, please contact us at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. We're in our office from Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. The telephone number is 390-6954. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware. See you again next time.